Oh god, this Sins video has only begun and I already want out of here. Nobody told me this was an Edge and Vicky Guerrero love event. Don't give me that look, this is 2008, a long time ago.
WWE presents.
I won't lie, the idea of speeding through the intro with some kick-ass music and then cutting straight into the action is my kind of event. I like this. Sign to the left conveniently foreshadows perhaps the best version of CM Punk in the WWE. This guy must have traveled back from 2009 or something. Bell rings for Justin Roberts to begin the announcement of the first match, only to reveal that he was asleep the whole time and had to quickly adjust himself. No sleeping on the job allowed over here. This fan right here is probably asking the same question I am. Why are we always starting John Morrison's entrance laying on the ground and then flying into the sky? Trying to look up the skirts of the fans in attendance? Camera crew must be a bunch of perverts.
And ladies and gentlemen, we're representing Friday Night.
Damn, the one thing the production team forgot to do was slow down the footage during the Miz and John Morrison's pose like they always do. Best hope they don't find out about that.
Can't stand that guy.
I can't be the only one who thinks Mick Foley's commentary, specifically the hatred towards the Miz, sounds forced, right? Mid-2008 commentary weren't really that good for either of the three brands, specifically in the case of ECW.
Hawkins and Ryder from Long Island, New York.
But the ring announcer made sure to not bring up that fact because Kurt Hawkins and Zack Ryder are bad guys, and hearing the name Long Island would make the audience cheer for them. The entire existence of the Festus character. Because of the positioning of the camera and the sign being folded in half, I have no choice but to assume this kid wrote I want unda. Whatever that means, I have no idea. Oh, I get it. Festus is the way he is because he inhaled all the smoke caused by the pot in the arena. A similar situation happened to me one time. You will never know the details.
So you don't think Festus is going to take out his aggression on the little guy?
Seriously, nothing is more irritating than everyone in WWE treating Hornswoggle like he's a little child just because he's short. If he's a legal competitor in the match, then it's fair game.
Please, certainly not a 2 minute.
This doesn't make any sense. Festus and Hornswoggle were the only two in the ring when the match began. Hornswoggle never tagged himself out when he hit a suicide dive, yet somehow The Miz is legal? Make it make sense here. Also, this will never not be irritating. There needs to be one of each team legal in the ring at once, otherwise it is not a fatal four-way match.
That the teams would not tag in other teams.
Why the fuck would they, Mick? It'd put them at a massive disadvantage if their whole team are on the apron. Jesse should consider himself lucky that Finlay kicks out here because if he tried to break up the pinfall at the pace he was going, he would have definitely failed.
The nutshills of Edge and Vicky, but more on that later.
How about more on that never?
The first team to score that pin or submission.
Honestly, since it's a fatal four-way, why not put in the elimination rules? Would actually be far more entertaining than what we are watching right now.
Maybe thinking Celtic Cross.
Finlay has Zack Ryder up in the Celtic Cross position and is literally flipping forward to connect the Celtic Cross, but sure, he may be thinking Celtic Cross.
Miz and Morrison saw the shillelagh shot. Say that 3 times.
Miz and Morrison saw the shillelagh shot. Miz and Morrison saw the shillelagh shot. Miz and Morrison saw the shillelagh shot. Doesn't sound that much like a tongue twister to me. Wait a minute, The Miz is saying, "Are you kidding me?" to Hornswoggle breaking up the pin and saving the match, despite the fact that he and John Morrison are stuck on the apron and would have lost their titles had Hornswoggle not done anything. What the hell is even going on here?
Rocket launcher. Jesse's a legal man.
Boy, that is weird. Jesse loses the match simply because he fell from the top rope. Not a finisher or a cool looking move. Just a little trip and a spill, and that spells the end. Awkward opening. During Matt Hardy's entrance, the camera crew pointed toward those in the nosebleed section, likely because they felt bad about their limited view. Also, Matt Hardy is the United States champion yet is entering first, when the tradition is to have the challenger enter first. Matter of fact, the champion entering first happens a lot tonight.
The Great American Bash. No man has lost the U.S. title.
Jim Ross conveniently brings up that fact on the one night where a United States champion loses his title at the Great American Bash. You jinxin' dick.
We were in Matt Hardy's backyard.
Hope you stayed away from the lake. I heard it got contaminated by some supernatural force. Who am I kidding? More likely never hear about that again. I just now noticed, it's been over 30 minutes since the opening pyrotechnics launched and nobody else has used any pyro for their entrance. So why is it still smoking in the arena? Was my jokes about smoking pot actually realistic here?
Shelton Benjamin can do things that no other ever has.
And yet, WWE still doesn't see that potential even over a decade later. That's a very big shame given how amazing Shelton Benjamin is in the ring. In the midst of this United States Championship match, Shelton Benjamin figures now is the best chance of practicing his dental skills on Matt Hardy just in case wrestling doesn't work out.
Matt Hardy, resident of ECW.
Which further makes it obvious that Shelton Benjamin is going to win the United States Championship from Matt Hardy due to the former status as a SmackDown wrestler. The WWE draft is great, but sometimes it really gives away the obvious winner.
Does not pay off.
Wrestler who hits a high-risk maneuver the first time always fails to connect it the second time cliche. Honestly, Shelton Benjamin didn't need to do anything at all here because Matt Hardy was going to miss him completely in the moonsault attempt regardless. I guess you could say Matt inadvertently cost himself his own United States Championship.
And then I was never supposed to be the top guy, the world champion.
And according to the way this World Heavyweight Championship run was viewed upon, CM Punk still isn't the top guy. Evan Bourne equals rating sign. Boy, if only that were true. WWE mobile text voting, and also how is there not a neither option when it comes to who we sympathize with more in the Edge Vicky Guerrero marriage fiasco?
Oh, hi, Mark.
Ships change hands thus far.
How can any fan at ringside possibly fall for Mark Henry offering them to touch the ECW Championship belt when he's obviously the bad guy here? Here, go ahead and touch the gold. Psych! Mike Adamle, 10 cents to the counter just because it's Mike Adamle. I don't need any other reason for this. I'd be interested to see what role Colin Delaney plays in the build-up for the ECW Championship. Nah, who am I kidding? How can anyone give a shit about this?
So told us he put his
Tommy Dreamer actually believed that he could take down Mark Henry simply by grabbing his leg. When we say go after the legs, we mean kick them, because you sure as hell ain't strong enough to use your own strength to bring down Mark Henry like that.
pure strength and is standing up.
I still wonder how the hell WWE even let Mike Adamle on the commentary when he either has no idea what he's saying or he pauses between sentences every 2 seconds.
Henry trying to.
Funny how Mark Henry is the world's strongest man, yet has problems keeping Tommy Dreamer down when he has his hands wrapped around Tommy's head.
Henry the power.
How sad the once violent ECW has become, reduced to a 5-minute match where the audience couldn't give two shits about it.
Tommy nailed the signature DDT.
Colin Delaney looks to attack Tony Atlas for getting himself involved in the match and then says, understandable, have a nice day, when Tony said, I was just kidding, man. What an idiot.
Henry with the oath.
Oh no, Colin Delaney turned his back on Tommy Dreamer. What an amazing plot twist we got. I can't wait to see where this leads. Oh look, it's over already.
He believes his legacy is at stake.
Wrestler believes that his legacy is at stake cliche, something we've heard for practically everybody who competes on pay-per-view.
I'm not hurt.
When you really think about it, Shawn Michaels technically deserved everything that happened to him at the hands of Chris Jericho over the course of the summer. Damn it, you have me rooting for the bad guy here, WWE. Who cares how awesome the pyrotechnics look for Chris Jericho? Let's cut to the crowd watching instead. When you see Shawn Michaels make his entrance but doesn't dance around like he normally does, that's when you know shit is about to hit the fan. And I love it. About 1 minute of Chris Jericho and Shawn Michaels slowly approaching just to stare at each other before the bell rings. And why hasn't the bell rung? Both wrestlers are already in the ring, ready to go for this match. Chop chop.
Gets to the bottom rope, that'll force the break.
Now that you mentioned the rope breaks, I have a question. By this point, we have seen a full-on singles match between these two at Judgment Day, eye injuries, and glass shattering. So how are we not giving this some no-holds-barred stipulation?
Feels that he was swindled out of the Intercontinental Championship.
Well, I mean, he technically was. At Night of Champions, Shawn Michaels put himself on the ring apron to distract Chris Jericho, which allowed Kofi Kingston to take advantage and win the Intercontinental Championship. So in essence, Chris has a good reason to feel swindled out of the title by Shawn. I was going to remove a sin for the hilarious way the atomic drop was connected on Chris Jericho, but unfortunately, Shawn being a dick to Chris's Jericho's kicked in, and I gotta go the other way. It was still funny though. Always cool to see the walls of Jericho locked in, but Chris is in a position where he's not exactly putting any sort of pressure on Shawn's back here, so I don't know if I should be worried about Shawn potentially submitting.
There's no one with the heart of the Heartbreak King.
Haha, fuck you.
He hadn't been here at ringside.
Let's be honest here, even if Shawn Michaels did not hang on to the ropes, Chris Jericho was not in any sort of position to successfully connect his code breaker. Barely had a grip on Shawn's hair, let alone his head.
Jericho!
Heel wrestler is thrown into his own manager cliche, or in Lance Cade's case, Chris Jericho's protege. That has gotta suck when you perform a high-risk moonsault outside the ring, but both your targets are in the wrong position, causing you to take the worst of the damage due to the impact.
Back to the live action here. Oh.
Even from this camera angle, I could tell that Chris Jericho's elbow was nowhere near Shawn's eye, yet it somehow cut his head open at the eye, so I gotta credit the sin toward blading. Also, maybe that's the reason why WWE decided to stop the blading when they became a PG show after this event, because most of the time, it doesn't make sense how they bleed in a certain area upon not even getting hit there.
He's got a crossface in.
Well, technically not a cross face, because his arms are not even crossed over Chris's face. I'd have to go with calling it a cross neck. The last 3 minutes of this match were actually scary, I'm not gonna lie. Shawn Michaels bleeding all over the place while Chris Jericho constantly attacks the injured eye. Shawn begging the referee not to stop the match. It's amazing to watch. For the last 3 minutes, I'll take 3 sins off. Shawn, you may want to be careful. We may not be in the PG era yet, but we're also not exactly in an R-rated era either. Honestly, I gotta take another sin off because once the match is over and Chris Jericho is gone, you can just feel the trauma from the audience as a bloody Shawn Michaels is held to the back. My god, this is insane.
He crossed boundaries that you just don't do.
But let's completely ignore the boundaries I crossed by cheating on Vicky Guerrero almost instantly before our wedding. What Triple H did was totally far worse than boundary crossing.
What kind of a pervert puts a camera in another man's hotel room?
A bigger question is, how the hell did you not see the fucking camera in the first place? Based on the footage we see, it was clearly not hidden out of sight. What chance?
You've ruined my life. I know how to ruin yours.
Edge does not end up trying to get with Stephanie McMahon and flirt with her. Oh, he meant the WWE Championship. Right, sorry, force of habit. Tonight, at the Great American Bash, we crown the first ever WWE Divas Champion, introducing us to practically the worst design of any championship I've ever seen. I'm actually shocked Michelle McCool and Natalya didn't take one look at the title and instantly pass on the opportunity.
It's an unfortunate situation.
Damn, even the commentators don't give a shit about the new WWE Divas Championship. Michelle McCool makes her entrance for this match, and Jim Ross instantly goes into the subject of Edge and Vicky Guerrero's marriage fiasco, which is somehow far more entertaining than what we are watching right now. How the hell did that happen?
Natalya countered by refs.
What in the hell was that? Either Natalya was daring Michelle McCool to dropkick her, or Natalya's reflexes suddenly shut down for a moment.
Natalya's got that strength and power.
Wow, that move was actually effective. Natalya may have just found a great way to keep the advantage in her future matches. Yeah, she's never going to use that again. The only reason Michelle McCool got out of this was because Natalya chose to let go of her arms. And that's it. Could have kept her there until she submitted, but nope.
Hey.
Holy fuck! Not even the WWE itself cares about the crowning of the first ever Divas Champion. Michelle McCool wins and doesn't even get 30 seconds to celebrate before Chris Jericho returns after we saw him like 15 minutes ago. I get that the Divas title itself looks like shit, but at least pretend you care about it. I gotta give this 20 cents.
Shawn Michaels had his last match.
In other words, this was not going to be Shawn Michaels' last match because the bad guy said it was. CM Punk successfully cashes in his Money in the Bank contract on Edge, but I'm actually wondering why Edge is not involved with this match. I get the brand exclusiveness here, but Edge does have a rematch clause that he chooses not to take advantage of. Just saying, it's a little flaw here. Oh my, why are you not entering last? You're the freaking champion! Dave Bautista be like, sorry, I'm so used to the stage entrance being on the other side, not this mirrored version. The referee checks the wrestlers for weapons in this match, but not any of the other matches, cliche. That still bothers me. Dave must have been misbehaving earlier and CM Punk kicks him in the butt as a punishment. He's gonna be grounded next. Literally.
He's no fluke on the line and a kick out. Dude,
we are literally 1 minute into the match and Dave is upset because a single boot to CM Punk's face didn't finish him off. Underestimating opponents, no matter how small, is a bad idea.
right in the jaw. Punk gonna kick it.
Jesus, if Dave is getting frustrated because CM Punk is kicking out of every small move he connects, I'd hate to see what he'd look like if the Batista bomb doesn't get the job done.
Who's tired of playing with CM Punk?
Oh, is that what he's been calling it this whole time? Playing with CM Punk, but getting mad because Punk keeps kicking out of everything he does?
Do it! Hooks the inside leg!
Throughout this entire pinfall, Dave's shoulder is clearly off the canvas as you can see in this shot, yet the referee chooses to ignore it and continues to count anyway. I don't know what's more sad, the quality of this match or the fact that CM Punk only retained his World Heavyweight Championship against Batista due to Kane showing up. Regardless, I'm still giving it 5 cents. Also, the referee called for the disqualification because he saw Kane attack Batista, which would grant him as the winner of the match. However, the actual result was labeled as a double disqualification, despite Kane not attacking CM Punk until it was already over. How does that make any sense? While I gotta admit that was humorous and random for Kane to suddenly kick a cameraman in the face, I'm still pissed off that this world title match was treated as a joke, so I'm in no mood to remove any sins here. Guarantee you actually thought I wasn't going to remove a sin from my kill switch after I didn't do it earlier. Probably even had some scathing comments for me breaking Sin's tradition. Haha, gotcha! After this post-match assault, Batista is still somehow considered a babyface despite the obvious heel assault, and CM Punk wasn't being a heel either during this build-up. I believe that John Cena got smashed head-on by JBL's car about as much as I believe that Vince McMahon blew up in his limousine a year ago. In other words, 0. Obviously, John Cena moved out of the way as JBL realized, but still.
And John Bradshaw Layfield at the end of Raw this past month.
The ring introductions have ended and the match has begun before the entrances took place. And also, what do we need entrances for if this match is taking place in a freaking parking garage? Also, this match is labeled as a New York City parking lot brawl, but takes place in a parking garage instead. Sure, that can qualify as a parking lot, but it would have been a lot cooler to see them fight in the outside lawn. Whenever JBL competes in the ring, he wears his traditional wrestling gear, but when he's in a much more deadly fight in a parking lot involving cars, glass, and other weapons, he wears a full suit and tie. Wouldn't you want to keep your suit clean and away from destruction? It doesn't once register to JBL that John Cena is more than likely hiding in one of the cars for a chance to run him over, and he continues to stand in front of all the cars. I put myself in a safe position away from the chance of getting run over if I were him. Well, because JBL is putting his entire focus on that red car, then it's pretty obvious which car John Cena is hiding in. The one behind him. Also, watch this clip. Who threw the crowbar that made JBL turn around and face the opposite direction of where John Cena is located, if John is obviously in this car here? Honestly, what's stopping JBL from simply getting the jumper cables off his lay fields? It's not like John Cena made it impossible to do so, and when your balls get hurt, your first instinct is to quickly get whatever hurt them off immediately. But JBL just sits there in pain and lets this happen. Obvious CGI is obvious. Ow, my hands! And in this case, even John Cena's hands are not protected when it comes to colliding with the car. I'm sorry, but no, you cannot convince me that John Cena went headfirst through the window and didn't suffer so much as a single scratch. It is literally not possible to go headfirst through a window and not at least get a scratch mark. 2 to 3 minutes of JBL preparing to set a car on fire with John Cena inside, to which we obviously know John is going to escape in the nick of time. I'm actually surprised JBL allowed the crew to put out the flaming car, which allowed John Cena to not even be affected by the flames at all. Power of editing.
It holds!
John Cena somehow doesn't realize that the parking lot brawl is still going on despite no longer taking place in a parking lot. Premature celebration is always a sin. John Cena has run headfirst into glass so many times and still isn't bleeding. I'm starting to think that's not even real glass anymore. And if they were never going to use real glass, then don't try and defy logic. Why are they even playing John Cena's music? He lost the match. These results are somehow not 100% in favor of Edge, because while Edge may be disliked, Vicky Guerrero is hated, especially throughout 2008. Edge probably has that pissed off look on his face because he went out to the ring without properly getting his hair ready, as it is all over the place.
14,126!
Fucks, I still don't give about the number of fans in attendance. Nothing has changed over here yet.
The richest prize in this business.
Jim Ross and CM Punk must have had a heated debate backstage following the conclusion of this event, since JR referred to the WWE Championship as the richest prize, while CM Punk declared the Big Gold World Heavyweight Championship as the richest prize.
That canvas is not going to be very unforgiving.
So in other words, the ring canvas will be very forgiving to whoever crashes upon it. Thanks for the likely unintentional wisdom. Yikes, that crash into the barricade must have hurt Triple H immensely. It's just a shame the camera was way too close to the action, causing us to be squished along with him. Edge likely knocked out Hunter on the outside of the ring, then proceeds to pose in the ring while he awaits to see if Hunter can get back in the ring before the 10 count. But he forgot that he can't win the WWE Championship by a countout. I would say that crash into the announce table looked brutal, but Hunter hardly even got lifted an inch off the ground in that attempt.
We should have had a C.
I agree. There should have been an option C on the mobile text voting for who we sympathize with more. That option C being, who gives a shit? We're not at the end of the Ruthless Aggression Era until the end of this night, so we still could have put that up there.
And the Impaler DDT.
Here's what I don't understand. Edge calls that move the Edgecution, has been calling it that for quite some time. So why is Jim Ross the only commentator who just calls it the Impaler DDT while everyone else calls it by Edge's modified name? I'm just gonna guess that Jim Ross is not even going to refer to that move as the Edge-O-Matic at all. I don't think this is Alicia Fox trying to help Edge. She just wanted any excuse to hold the WWE Championship belt and declare herself the new champion. History has been made, folks! Either Vicky Guerrero didn't get to the ring at the right moment, or Alicia Fox turned around too early. Either way, the result is Alicia waiting for almost 3 seconds for Vicky to connect a clothesline on her when she easily could have moved out of the way. Based off the reality of why Edge truly married Vicky Guerrero, this spear was most likely intentional, because regardless of the result, Vicky was going down, whether by herself or Alicia Fox and the referee getting speared into her. Interesting hints they put there.